I'm great, dude. It's been a little while. I've been out and about traveling and such.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, it's been
I
good.
feel like I got to live a little vicariously through you. I was so excited for you, so jealous, but you got to go see Tipper at the Gorge
At the Gorge.
in Washington.
Woo, 3 sets of Tipper blew my hair back.
Make you a little weak in the knees.
It got me a little weak in the knees. I'll tell you that, dude. Oof. And it rolled right into a beautiful sunrise set, ambient. Oof, magic.
Dude, I was kind of at home in Colorado, following what was going on at the Gorge, and I was delighted to know that Tipper Music, I think that's their main company or whatever, they put out the sunset, the twilight set.
Yep.
They put that on YouTube. It's like somebody with a tripod at the top of the gorge, just in still motion, watching this unfold. I was I don't know if Tipper has a personal relationship with God, or if he could order a perfect sunset like that, but those clouds just hung around slow motion ripples of a rock hitting a pond. I was like, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
And then to think about the fact, so I got to watch that on YouTube here, and then I was like, and then it went dark, and then you guys had the whole night of darkness at the gorge with Spangle and all this awesome shit.
Yeah.
And then the sun starts to come back, and it's Tipper again to make a Tipper sandwich for you at the gorge that you can eat before you rest your beautiful eyes at the end of the long stretch.
It was incredible, man. It was the last Tipper and Friends camping event. So there's a couple more announced. He's going to Secret Dreams, and then he's finishing up at Red Rocks, which is going to be highly sought after.
Aww.
But I feel like I got my fill. I'm good, We got some cool music coming to Telluride too, not too long. So I'm sitting pretty, man. I'm all set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of Secret Dreams, that is on tonight. Which by the time you guys listen to this, you may have missed it, but Pretty Lights is on tonight. Secret Dreams, I'll definitely be streaming that, but it's another festival that has faced adversity with the weather. Night 1 of Secret Dreams in Ohio was pretty much rained out, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
Lots of glitter, lots of mascara melting all over the lawn, which, don't worry, baby girl, you look beautiful still. It's okay. But yeah, Bonnaroo turned into a lake. Secret Dreams turned into a mud fest, at least last night. And then, did you see that shit about Tomorrowland?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy to see. I mean, Tomorrowland is known for putting on such epic performances and their stage design. But yeah, Tomorrowland overseas in Belgium, main stage, burned to a crisp. Wow.
Yeah. And if you've ever seen that stage, I mean, it is a work of art. And so I saw this one clip on social media where, I mean, it was just so much black smoke because of how much paint is probably on there is what I was thinking. I mean, among other things, rubber and wires and speakers and all sorts of shit. And so heart goes out to Tomorrowland and all you guys over there right now, still making it a good thing, because I think the show is still going on. But yeah, it's what is going on?
Yeah, the festivals can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break.
But hey, the Gorge was perfect weather, beautiful time. Couldn't complain about a single thing.
Yeah, our boy caught a break right here. He was like, what? Did you get a corn dog?
I did not get any fest food, really. I nibbled on some other people's, but apparently they were kind of stingy with the tater tots. So I was like, maybe not for me.
Right? You ever get back to your sandwich that you left on the cooler, and then you're like, I don't remember taking 3 bites. That was Emerson. He snuck by your cooler. He's like, got you.
Nibbling over here.
Well, hell yeah, dude. I'm glad you made it out there and had a blast, and I'm stoked to watch Pretty Lights tonight, as I said, and I hope all you guys are out there enjoying the summer in some way too.
Oh, yeah. Got to soak up that sunshine, baby.
Boom shaka. Well, hey, thank you all for joining us. This is Break the Cypher. You've reached episode 3 in the saga of Alpine Wellness and Telluride through the mic channels of Break the Cypher and your boys here in Colorado. So thanks for kicking it with us. We've missed you. But yeah, I figured we should try a little bit of a little spin on things and go down the rabbit hole of mainstream media just for a split second in time before we, go into our exciting story about the Telluride saga. And so before we jump into round 3 of this, we wanted to take a second and just talk about the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, dude, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but the headlines are all over the fucking place lately. I mean, it's kind of wild out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's unpredictable, and that's what makes it so fun, Top of the news today, the last few days, is Coldplay concert, right? Happening out east in Massachusetts at Foxborough Stadium. Been there a few times. Very beautiful. But I never had a spotlight shined on me. They were making the news not for their music, Coldplay, all good and fair, but a viral kiss cam moment at their show that happened. CEO caught in the act.
Dude, so funny. You want to hear something funny about Coldplay?
Yeah.
It's actually a little trick. This is a little life hack for everybody. And it works, and it is no offense to Coldplay. Okay, you guys do great. You make beautiful music. You're artists, and I respect you. But if you ever have a house party and you reach 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you want everybody to leave, all you have to do is put Coldplay on. And if they're not leaving because they don't like Coldplay, they're leaving because they're like, look at the stars. They're like, you know what I need? I need to go home. And it is the funniest thing, but you can have a major evacuation at 2:30 in the morning, right? You just I want everybody to leave. I put Coldplay on the speaker system, right? Nobody notices anything for about 10 minutes. And then everyone's kind of like, I think I'm ready to go. It's so funny. And so, yeah, dude, so back to the main Coldplay story. They cut to this super cute couple, super cute. And the front man, Chris Martin, he stops mid-song. And he's all like, oh, well, these guys are either really shy or they're having an affair. And I'm sure that, all of you guys have seen the footage at this point, but it is so funny. And, I feel like we were talking about this pre-show a little bit. And I wish that, the guy's reaction was actually to do... if he whispered in her ear, he's like, hey, put your hands behind your back. And then they just went into T-Rex arms or something. They're like, oh, no, I don't know this lady. But instead they duck dive onto the stage. And it's oh my God. That's when I look back on that, it's so many different ways you could react. You could have pretended you were giving her the Heimlich, my guy.
Ah, yeah.
That's a good one.
Put that on the list. Maneuver.
Yeah. And so, it's the internet, obviously, as everybody knows, pretty much melted after that. I don't know if Coldplay has ever gotten more publicity than that.
Yeah. Oh, viral moment for sure. It's crazy. Like you said, they could have just ducked or gone along with it, Heimlicked it out, but no. They chose to deer in the headlights it. Turns out, guy is married. And not to the woman he was with.
That wasn't his wife?
That was not his wife.
Are you kidding me?
Turns out. They were awfully cozy. I would have guessed it had it not been for their reaction. Yeah. So CEO of big tech company, and now his actual wife, deleted her socials, changed her last name before deleting the socials. If that's not very telling, I don't know what else is. And people are really calling it the Kiss Cam affair, which is very true. And, Coldplay, Chris Martin accidentally exposed a side piece situation on the main display.
Yeah, dude. I feel like Coldplay did more investigative journalism than CNN's done in the last 6 months. It's like exposed. We got to get Coldplay on the Epstein files, Jesus.
Real talk.
It's like boom.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But fuck, I can't believe it. I feel like, you see the Kiss Cam at the hockey game and the baseball game and all this time. I don't know if anybody's been caught cheating like that, or that the public, because of the reaction, was immediately made aware that he's guilty. He is so guilty. He could have been, like I said, I would have gone with the Heimlich maneuver probably, and then had to be like, I'll pay for your broken ribs. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God. Oh, that would have been the best way out, honestly. But the internet has run away with it. They are the latest meme. And the moral of the story, if you're cheating at a Coldplay show, you deserve to get caught. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. I feel like you can't be like, well, I was just there alone, and that was the girl next to me. You went to a Coldplay show alone? Hell no. Mm-mm. All right, well, speaking of which, we're going to get Coldplay on this because they need to expose the Epstein files, apparently, because they are crushing it right now in journalism and exposing lies and stuff. And so, but the Epstein files are back in the news, which you also all know. It's all the rage again. And it's really interesting, I feel like for how big of a deal that it is, actually 300 gigabytes worth of documents, which is the equivalent of 1,000 audiobooks worth of information.
Wow.
On average, it might even be 100,000 audiobooks worth of information. 300 gigabytes worth of information. And it really seems to me that nobody really wants to touch it, right? There's so many ways that people who don't like each other in the political realm and the celebrity realm, there's so many ways that they could attack each other right now.
Oh yeah.
Yet nobody is.
No.
It isn't. I don't know. It's wild to me, And so, but yeah, from I looked at People Magazine, July 17th. Former Vice President Pence says the time has come to share the Epstein files. It is now the time, July 17th, 2025.
Oh.
It's time.
Would you look at that? Now Mike Pence wants transparency?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Huh.
Right? This is the same crew that sealed court records tighter than the space capsule. All right, but now everyone's trying to act like they want the truth to come out. The AGs, the senators, even the House GOP leaders are on the transparency train. But I'm not so sure. Some of it to me feels like a front.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. After that campaign that we just went through, and all the shit that was said and all the mean stuff, and you're a Nazi, you're Hitler, you're this, you're that, and the Epstein files kind of seems like everybody's a little hush hush and a little yeah, they should be released. And it really kind of freaks me out, man. It's like that movie, Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's true, man. There's a deeper level to this shit. These it's a big club, and you and I aren't in it.
No,
I know that.
I don't have one of those masks.
No, yeah, a witch doctor mask.
They're probably expensive. A relic.
It's crazy. Because they were parading around binders. There was a spectacle to it of we're gonna release this, and now all of a sudden, really stepping back, really kind of hush hush about it. And it's funny because when that transparency that they're trying to bring to light threatens power, they hide. They want to reel it back in, but you can't. The cat's out of the bag. Too many people already know. But all these people in power are implicated, so they don't want anything actually revealed. But so like when it threatens someone else, suddenly, they're activists. They want all the light, all the sunshine on something. The spotlight, the Coldplay kiss cam on it. But no, when they might be involved, sweep it under the rug.
I know. The Coldplay kiss cam is almost like overshadowing the Epstein files. You know what I mean? Like, it's like crazy what we're interested in, people. Like, because we actually, citizens, are the ones driving the narrative of the news. We're telling them what it is we want to talk about. And right now we're talking about Coldplay. And it's really funny. I mean, that is a really funny story. But the Epstein files, it kind of like, right now, it rubs me the wrong way. I feel like the people who say they want to talk about it, I feel like they're being fake when they say that. I think there's a lot of people involved that like are on the line, and it's weird. And it's like, in my opinion, it's some like secret society type bullshit, like whether it's Eyes Wide Shut or Squid Game or like this is what the fucking wealthiest of the wealthiest do with their free time, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like they're all kind of interconnected. Like P. Diddy just got out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He just got out. He had this whole weird thing that's not really even being talked about.
No.
Right now.
No.
Even P. Diddy's not talking about it. I mean, he just spent like, I don't know how many years, but like 2 or 3 years in prison, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not mad. I'm just going to disappear right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And that makes me feel like it's kind of like the same energy. Like these things are all parts of like a bigger whole of a society that we don't really understand. And it's kind of creepy. Hollywood's kind of portrayed it before and it's been put in front of us. But shit, like meanwhile, guys, switching topics here, we got all this shit going on with ICE. And a lot of us don't really know what to think about it. A lot of us think we think about it in this way or think about it in that way. Like if you're here illegally, then you should just be deported. Some people are like, well, if you've been here for like 20, 30 years illegal, like you got here illegally, but you've been a good person and a good citizen, then there should be a way to like suss that out. And I feel like on average, like, yes, people oppose each other on this view or that view, but I do feel like there is some weird Gestapo shit when it comes to these ICE agents, and I've come to find like they are not badged. They are not identified on the reports. They have to wear the masks. A lot of people don't like the masks because they feel like it absolves them from making mistakes. I kind of get the mask thing. I think that there are repercussions to being a federal agent or whatever. But I feel like you should have to identify yourself. Like, what is to stop somebody from dressing up like an ICE agent and deporting people to their fucking basement? And then they're like, it puts the lotion on. It puts the lotion on. Like, this is like not okay. Like, these people are just dressed in black, showing up in Honda Civics with like stun guns and masks. And you, like, how do you know it's ICE is the thing.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's like mistakes being made. There's rights not being upheld. They're not getting due process. There's no bond, no trial timeline, just bureaucracy and silence.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's pretty fucked up. I mean, the fact that they're hiding their identity purposefully kind of already shows that, like, well, if you're in the right, do you have to do that? No. But if you're kind of working on these Gestapo-like schemes, then, yeah, you're probably going to want to hide your identity and not actually show face. And I think it gives a more of a mob mentality too. Like they're all just anonymous because they can't be identified. And like you said, they're not wearing any sort of identification. And who's to stop, citizens from going out and trying to police their communities or whatnot? I mean, we've seen it with BLM activism back in the day. Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines and shot people up. And he thought he was doing the right thing. And, guess what? He got a slap on the wrist and a book deal.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. But the fact that there is no due process, there's no defense, they're kind of rewriting the system, rewriting the rules to hold people indefinitely. And what does that say about our nation?
It's kind of scary. And I just feel like, I don't know. It is the way that it is right now. And I'm like worried that this is not as much national security as it is like a weaponization of time. All right. Cause it's like, all right, we got this new administration in, this is the amount of time we have. This is what we got to do. Guess what? The big, beautiful bill, which has good parts and bad parts. Okay. ICE is funded in that bill. Do you know how much ICE is getting?
I don't.
75B as in boy. Ooh. 75B as in boy, man.
Woo. Wow.
That's fucking crazy.
That's
not D as in David. I ain't talking about $75. I'm talking about $75 billion is going towards ICE. And to me, that says that is a weaponization of time. That's going to expand. And it's like right now, we got like, it kind of seems like ninjas out there abducting people. Sometimes they're illegals and sometimes they're not, we're finding out. And I think it's real easy to sit back and be like a white guy right now, right? It's easy to sit back and be a white guy, but right now to sit back and be Hispanic or tan or brown, wherever you call it, like you got to be on edge right now. Like is some ninja in a Honda Civic going to show up and stun gun you and you're like, what the fuck? I was just going to my job at Jamba Juice. Like, I don't fucking know.
Yep.
But it is kind of nuts. And there's no badge. There's no face. There's no, there's no way to identify whether this is actually a federal agent or if this is somebody that is like a criminal who's human trafficking. Right? Like that shit's wild. And so I feel like that is a big topic right now. Like when I listen to the news, it's like, okay, we got Epstein on ice.
Yeah.
Time for some Coldplay.
Jeez. Put that 75B?
$75 billion.
$75 billion
is going to ICE.
Can we just round up a client list
That's
before we round
dough.
up all these illegal immigrants? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. The situation, the whole thing is a gray area, right? With immigration and, as you said, how they got here, how long they've been here. But if you can maintain a living, you need a job, you're paying taxes, you're contributing to the system. But if you're not actually an official citizen, you're not reaping the benefits of the American system and the, different organizations and funding that is available. So it really is an uphill battle, and now you have to fear even going to your job site.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It is pretty wild, and I hope that everybody out there dealing with it and living in a little bit of fear right now, because you might be here legally, you might not be a criminal. You might be here illegally, and you might not be a criminal, and I get that that's scary too. And I just think that we would definitely need to get it under control as far as like, the ninjas showing up and just like abducting people kind of vibe. There has to be some other way because these guys are about to get 75 billion. All right. And so unless us, the citizens, actually be like, hey, there is a way to protect ICE agents and there is a way to protect our citizens. And, I feel like it needs to be thought about. So, I mean, it's literally all over the news right now. And, I feel for you.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Well, moving along. The next story we have down the rabbit hole, as we've been waiting to talk about, is there's a Metrc whistleblower case from MJ Biz Daily of July 16th. So I want to hear a little more about that.
Dude, so do you know what Metrc is?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so 2009 to like 2014, basically, there was no inventory tracking system for the cannabis industry that was offered by the state. It was all just point of sale system. We kept track of sales. We kept track of this, plants, blah, blah, blah. And then 2014, recreational marijuana happened in Colorado, and this Metrc company became a big deal. And all of a sudden, the state wanted to track everything from seed to sale. And it is still going on today. And it is like, just to make the analogy, it's like how every part in a car vehicle is attached to a specific number from a specific batch that it came from so that they could recall. Yeah. Like, we know that all Fords that were made in 2016 have a batch of this part that's failing. All right, so that's what they did to cannabis. So you have to track from seed all the way to sale. So all along the way. And then Metrc accounts for your sales and stuff. It connects to your regular point of sale system. It is like a state inventory tracking system that is hooked up to your front of the house point of sale system. Okay. And so this was like really interesting to me, actually. Yeah. You know, and so basically, in a nutshell, it's a seed to sale tracking software that nearly every cannabis business in Colorado has to use. I know several other states have to use it. And a former exec just filed a federal whistleblower lawsuit saying that Metrc knowingly allows illegal interstate cannabis smuggling, right? And so this is the system we're required to use by the state. We have to pay for it. Each plant has a radio frequency ID tag that is fixed to the plant. And then the plant grows all season, and then we harvest it, and that tag stays with that material. And then once that material is processed, we turn everything from those tags into packages of finished marijuana, and then it's transferred to the stores. And then it's sold to the system based on those tag numbers. And so this is like the intricate system that the state made us use and pay for. We have to pay for every month. We have to pay for all these radio frequency ID tags because, as you know, cannabis plants who are rooted in the ground have the ability to grow legs and fucking walk off the side of the earth, right? Okay. So this is like part of the stupidness of like, okay, we'll put the tag on the plant, right? Because marijuana plants just walk away all the time. Oh man! Right? Like, it's like, how many marijuana plants can you fit into a conversion ban? Like, seriously? Like, this is not what's going on here. Right. But anyways, the state required us to do this 2014 to 2025 right now, and now we're finding out that there's like illegal activity going on, even with the system that the state created.
Oh my goodness.
Or whatever.
Yeah, that's wild. It sounds like it's like the ultimate all-seeing eye tracking software. That's basically compliance software the state is mandating that you have to use. I was unaware of this, but that's very interesting. Like the same one that tells state regulators whether you're in the system through all this tracking. And like, if that's true, then the state's been pointing the finger at small businesses that are doing this process while its own tracking tech is blowing holes in the law. What?
It's so funny, man.
What?
Exactly. Like Alpine Wellness, like, can't get emotion answered from the town of Telluride for 90 days, based on the town's own code and process. And then Metrc, the system that the state requires us to use for compliance, is helping traffic pounds across state lines. Jeez. Like, what in God's green earth is going on? It's unreal.
Oh man, well, good on that exec for, utilizing that whistleblower legality to shine some light on this, because that would never have ever been a thought in my head. Not only that every plant has to be tagged and bagged and seed to sale, that seems outrageous, but the fact that the very same tracking software is now quietly, well, they didn't want to disclose it. It had to be whistleblown, but there might be, some smuggling that's happening. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Jeez.
It's crazy. It really is.
Wow, we'll keep it rolling. Let's
roll it out.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Let's roll.
In Michigan, Massasoit County, just used $200,000.
Mezcal.
Yeah, I had to put that A in there. They just used $200,000 in cannabis tax money, right, to fund a lawsuit against an electric vehicle battery plant. Huh?
Because that's what weed money should be going towards.
Oh man, this is from Big Rapid News, obviously a local news source, on July 15th. Huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That money was actually supposed to go to community benefits like school and healthcare, instead of fueling some weird political turf war.
Oh man! Man!
I'm concerned about like how marijuana tax dollars are spent all the time, even here in Colorado. Like, I don't feel like there's any tracking. I don't feel like there's any accountability to it. I do know that there's $250 million collected per year in cannabis money, and none of us know how it's spent. We're still being put into positions as like taxpayers to like increase mill levies so we can afford a school and to have, emergency health services. It's like, come on. 2014 came along. You had $250 million revenue stream introduced.
Wow. That
was never there. And it's like, we still got to ask the taxpayers to make sure we can have an ambulance.
Jeez. Serious? Yeah, that's not right. And the fact that, this county in Michigan is spending this to investigate an electrical vehicle battery plant. So basically, like, when I hear, or anyone, marijuana tax revenue, just know now that it's not always helping the community like it's supposed to. And sometimes that money, the taxpayer tax revenue, is actually helping politicians settle these grudges.
Yeah. Huh. Well, you know what, homie? Let's end this segment by restoring some faith in the world.
Please.
I think we all need it. I think we all need a little faith. We all need a little hope. And so here's some good news.
Lay it on me. Good news.
Take it away.
Oh, yes. This week, basically... All right, cool. Awesome. A shelter dog in Colorado that saved its new owner's life.
There we go.
What? Geez, talk about role reversal. Taking him out of the shelter, and the dog says, I got you back, dog.
I got you.
So the shelter dog saved its new owner's life, and by alerting to oncoming seizures. Wow.
Yeah.
So this dog has been trained to recognize patterns and now gives warnings before these seizures actually even start. That's a literal lifesaver. Man's best friend.
Fucking MVP of the week.
Jeez.
MVP of the week, mister.
Oh.
That's great.
That is.
So while the humans are out, deleting court records and abusing tax codes, dogs are showing up with emotional intelligence and actual purpose.
Wow.
Amen to that.
Nice.
I wish we knew the shelter dog's name.
Right.
Son of a gun. But he deserves the MVP of the week.
An unsung hero. That's awesome. Put that dog on the licensing board.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Come on.
Dude. Let's go.
Yeah. Then he'd acknowledge emotion, Obviously, he can see it coming before it even happens.
All right.
Wow.
All right. Well, fuck. Let's get into the Alpine Wellness and Telluride saga, because we know you're all interested in hearing what's happened next. We're finding out if cannabis industry has any rights, or if they're just to be treated as criminals, like the federal government says, right? No rights, no reason to follow the codes for the towns and the states and the statutes. What is it that we're dealing with? We're just dealing with governments that collect money and selectively enforce. And so that's what we're finding out with this case. And I think it's really important. And so July 2nd is where we're going to pick up, my friend.
Here we are.
Right?
Yep.
And on July 2nd, Alpine Wellness reaches out to the town of Telluride. And they say, hey, we haven't heard anything from you since the hearing. We haven't heard anything from you. We haven't gotten any formal notice. Last we remember, everybody was checking their calendars, sorting out their dates. There was some interesting miscommunications in the hearing on whether or not this would be 45 days or 60 days, or when the document production would happen, when the hearing would happen. And so Alpine Wellness reaches out, and they're like, hey, We haven't got anything. Town responds, and they're like, well, we sent it to this address, USPS, and it got returned because they sent it to the wrong address.
Oh, man.
Right? They sent it to the wrong address. So you're talking about this has been the company's address for 11 years, and you've been sending them stuff for 11 years. And then further, the email account that they sent the information to was the wrong email. And the company had just formally changed their email address 6 weeks prior. Mm-hmm. And all communications were going to this email address, the working one. Yep. And so all this information gets released June 17th. It gets mailed. It gets emailed to the wrong email address, to the wrong mailing address. Alpine Wellness never gets it. They proactively reach out to the town of Telluride and say, hey, we haven't heard anything. And the town of Telluride says, oh, well, this was returned and we sent this here. And I'm like, okay, so, that's the wrong email address. That's the wrong mailing address. Okay. Oh. And so that's July 2nd. And so Alpine's like, hey, well, we want to reset the time because there's procedural regulations to formally and legally serving somebody with documents like this because of due process, because you have to give the right amount of time for the other party to reply, right? And so that email gets sent out. Hey, we want to reset the clock here. We didn't get the information until July 2nd, right? And immediately, email response comes back denying the request, making accusations about this, about how Alpine Wellness was aware of this and Alpine Wellness was aware of that. And it's like awareness doesn't mean that procedure was followed. Just because we talked about it at a certain point doesn't mean that like we were served with the appropriate notices. And so Alpine Wellness files a formal motion with the town of Telluride, Marijuana Licensing Authority, asking for two things: a reset on the July 17th document deadline and a continuance of the July 29th hearing.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to overstep my bounds, but is it purposeful incompetence? Like, they seem to be able to reach right back out denying, but if you send a letter in the mail and it gets back returned, that means it was not delivered, and that means that timeline and due process was not met, in my eyes. So because the town sent this notice on June 17th to an older email, even after Alpine had officially updated their contact info, month and a half prior, that just seems wild to me. And like I said, or like you had said, there is a due process. There's a timeline in which information is received, documentation requests are given, and there's from that notice when it's received, that clock starts in my head. I mean, that seems logical. But the fact that they don't acknowledge that is just bizarre.
It is bizarre. Because it's a violation of their own code. It's a Telluride Municipal Code, a.k.a. TMC, Telluride Municipal Code, 6-6-111, which requires hearing notices to be reasonably calculated to reach the licensee. Right? This is because of due process. This is because people have a right to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's important that a town follows their own code. It's also a violation of CRS, which stands for Colorado Revised Statutes, CRS 24-4-105, Section 2, which means Alpine never got fair notice. And that fair notice means legal notice. It doesn't mean that this was said or that was said or this was sent informally. No, it's like when somebody's bringing you to a quasi-judicial hearing, there is formal and legal procedures to follow. They are outlined in your town's code, in your state's code, and your towns and states are required to follow that. And so, boom, that is not okay. All right. And so that is kind of where we're starting. So there's a little dispute on July 2nd about where the documents came from. The town immediately pushes back. it seems like they're just leveraging as much as they can and forcing this situation as much as they can instead of being practical and humble and like, okay, let's hear these guys out. Right. And so
that's interesting. And that brings us into the next segment. 9 days later, there's no answer. So 9 days go by and there's no reply from the town of Telluride. No ruling. No, the notice was not delivered correctly, obviously. And then fast forward now, these 9 days go by, no answer. July 11th, the town finally answers Alpine's motion. So what? Their first written response to anything. Oh, so you're there.
Yeah, since like February.
Jeez.
They've failed to respond to anything since February.
What?
And it's kind of crazy, dude, because they reply on July 11th, which is the same day that Alpine Wellness is like, we're sick of waiting for you to reply. They file a supplemental motion with the court because they have this active Rule 106 hearing. And they're like, hey, here's another instance where the town of Telluride has put us on the back burner, has ignored us, has not given us due process. That was served the morning of the 11th. It was served to the court, and it was served to the town of Telluride. And sure as shit, on the 11th, after that happens, right, at like 12 o'clock or something, the town of Telluride finally responds to the formal motion, right? Because now there's some pressure coming in from the court. And the court didn't have anything to say about it, but they sure as hell were served the documents that were like, hey, this pattern is exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
That these guys are acting in a quasi-judicial manner, like lawyers are acting like judges, right? And when that happens, they need to make sure they're holding up the standard, right? And what do they say in the motion? It's denied. No legal justification, no explanation, just a flat no.
What? That's ridiculous. And even worse, they claim that Alpine must have known about the June 17th order because they referenced it in court filings. What? That's not proof of service. That is circular logic that they're trying to use. In that court filing, there was actually no official date set. So right there, that stands on false grounds, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, you can listen to the original hearing, and they're literally talking about, the hearing officer is like, at one point he's like 45 days, at another point he's like 60 days. The clerk is like, I have to check my calendar. There's all this stuff where it's like this stuff wasn't finalized. And documents were sent out, and I think it is important that towns follow their own code and procedures. Like, this is not a game. These are people's lives on the line. This is a business's reputation on the line. You're talking about like newspaper articles and public notices and all this stuff where it's like you can't just cut corners right now. This is as serious as it gets. And so the very same day, July 11th, Alpine, the same day that Alpine files a supplemental motion in the San Miguel County District Court, finally, after 9 days of the motion being filed with Telluride outside of court for the hearing, Telluride responds. They deny it, and that's after they've been given notice that this was filed with the court. But now they're finally talking, and now Alpine finally gets a formal response after almost 6 months of waiting, because there is just document after document and email after email that was not responded to.
Wow.
There's a clear paper trail of it. It's absolutely bonkers. And so, boom. And so here we are. So July 11th, and the town of Telluride responding and denying on July 11th, that is bringing it to 3 business days to the deadline of the document production. You know what I mean?
It's absurd.
So it's like, we're going to say no, and now you got 3 days to pull it together. That's
nuts. Ridiculous.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. On July 11th, Alpine did file that supplemental motion for preliminary injunction in the San Miguel District Court, following correctly. All right. So now we're here. There's a 3-day deadline, as you just said, to comply. The town gives Alpine Wellness just 3 days to meet that document demand. IRS forms, payroll, tax court records, all due by July 17th. What? 3 business days.
3 business days. And guess what happened on July 13th?
What's that?
July 13th. It was a Sunday. It was a nice day. There was clouds. There was blue skies. And there was wildfires surrounding the western slope of Colorado. And on a Sunday, a wildfire disaster declaration, a national disaster declaration, was declared by Governor Polis, activating emergency protocol for Western Slope communities. And this directly impacted the area that Alpine's in. So this is on a Sunday on July 13th. So the town finally responds on the 11th, giving them pretty much 3 business days to respond after they had patiently waited for this motion, after they had not received the right documentation at the right time. They give them 3 business days, and there's just wildfire going on. There's 4 different wildfires going on, one of which really impacts the area that these guys are in.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, the smoke in the air, it was pretty unbearable. I do remember the clouds and the skies were just filled with smoke. And so Norwood, where Alpine's staff and records are, they're under threat from this Deer Creek fire. Evacuation's possible. Red flag warnings are in effect. This is a statewide Western Slope emergency.
Yeah. And dude, I mean, when you think about fires that start west of an area in southwest Colorado, the winds blow east. They come up from the southwest. They come up from Phoenix and Orange County, and it's in that lower jet stream. And so if you got shit in the wrong spot, it blows right through, which is what the governor is rightfully worried about. Because also on the western slope, you're not talking about very many options for highways, and there's already been several highway closures. Yep. And so even if you're not in direct line of the fire, you got to be trying to figure out how the hell you would get out. And the wind it's today, which is July 18th, and tomorrow is projected to be coming from the southwest, moving east at 60 miles an hour from Utah. And so they're in the direct line. And so we have this wildfire thing that happens right on top of it, and it is it's really interesting when you figure in natural disaster and real life circumstances where it's you really should be doing fire mitigation. These are ranches. This is big space. This is farmland. And doing fire mitigation and protecting your structures, packing a getaway bag in case, because you're talking about 60 mile an hour, 70 mile an hour winds. This is the same fire. The Deer Creek fire is the fire tornado. You see that fire tornado?
Oh, geez. Vortex of
flame. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was an F2 tornado that was all over the news. That's the fire that we're talking about here.
Wow.
And that is right down. You can see it from Norwood.
Wow. That's crazy. Oof. I mean, yeah, this is a real state of emergency, and it's time to be thinking about safety and, packing your belongings, not anything else, really. Safety is everyone's number one priority, to look out for yourself and your family members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like it's one of those things where you really just gotta, everybody goes through it where, our work lives are really important. Our routines are really important. We wake up in the morning, we go to the gym, we get the coffee, we go to work, we do this on this day, we do that and this. But listen, when you're faced with a situation that days in advance you could be preparing for in case it escalates, listen, the people who think like that, the people who think about things in advance in case they escalate, those people are prepared. Those people don't get stuck. And so this is a big issue. And then on July 16th, furthermore, right, on July 16th, a member of Alpine's team is critically injured. A family member, a best friend of the crew, of the area, been a part of Telluride and Norwood community for probably 17, 18 years. Wow. Gets in a terrible mountain biking accident And the crew finds out that he's been airlifted and is undergoing intensive surgery. Which big shout out to you, big fella, because I love you. And it sounds like he's wiggling his toes, and we got nothing but good vibes and prayers for you. But yeah, it is messed up. And so shit's just kind of piling on at this point.
Oh, man. Man. That's heavy. Yeah, I caught wind of that, and it's like, you never know. And the unexpected happens in the most unexpected times.
Yeah. But
that is what takes priority, is the people you love around you. And so it's wild. And like you said, it's still, business, and each day rolls on. And so Alpine, they have to show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys still show up. And I feel like they did it in the best way they could.
Mm-hmm.
July 17th at approximately 4:20 p.m. Alpine files a supplemental notice and request for deferment to the town of Telluride. They didn't submit the documents, but they also didn't offer silence, which we can't say about the town. The town has offered almost nothing but silence.
Wow. And so Alpine, they cite the pending court motion, the emergency that we just discussed, which no one can predict, and our hearts go out, the flawed service, and they say, this is not a waiver. This is us preserving our rights and not being silent. They respond, and they're not being, they are being forthcoming in that regard.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, at the beginning of this, right, they were asked for tax records. The tax records were submitted. Letters from attorneys were submitted about the administrative review going on. And it's like an ongoing thing with cannabis industry, as many cannabis business operators know, is that there's an ongoing dispute between state and federal law. And so Alpine sent them the truth. And they did it with 10 minutes to spare. They got it in before the deadline. And what happens when institutions create the illusion of process, but none of the protection? What happens?
It's wild. It's wild. And that's the story. That's where we're at right now. A motion denied, a deadline set, a crisis ignored, and Alpine standing their ground.
Yeah,
firm.
And next episode, July 29th. So far as we know, is the continued hearing, despite the requests to reset the clock because of the faulty service, despite the request because of the court filing and the multiple crises, including natural and family crisis. The trap was set, but so was the record, right? And so, yeah. I feel like I feel for everybody involved in this, but it's a really interesting thing to watch, because I feel when it comes to these regulators, when it comes to governments, you have to be really careful not to let your ego get involved, because that comes off as retaliatory. And what these towns should be doing is helping their businesses to thrive. And to realize that the towns also operate in an industry that's heavily scrutinized, where there is a dispute between the federal and state level. It's been ongoing as long as the industry itself. And they chose to be a part of that as well. And so it's like, pick a side, boys, let's go,
Yeah, I mean, it's just heartbreaking to know that all these kind of tragedies and unforeseen disasters are happening around, and the fact that the town of Telluride is sticking their nose up and not delivering documentation to the correct address or correct email, and then it just seems like they're kind of coming from a place of unchecked power, if you ask me. And businesses in the town should be supported. They've been contributing to the economy. They've been in good standing for over a decade. And, none of that seems to ever be a consideration or, acknowledged by the town. It's just demand after demand. And it just seems like it's such a one-way street where they don't have to communicate or respond for months. But guess what? Here's a hard deadline and we need it now, and da-da-da-da, and there's no give. And that's just not the way the world works.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the selective enforcement and the selective regulating and the selective process. We're talking about it with Epstein. We're talking about it with ICE. They are all parallel. There should be a set standard for how we go about things. And a government operating in a quasi-judicial way, they shouldn't be like dressed up like black ninja suits in the Gestapo either. Like, they're hired to follow the rules. You know, you can't just go to Coldplay and do whatever you want. In fact, I'd like to end the show with a brief comment from our friend, CEO Andy Byron. And I feel bad, brother, but you should have given her the Heimlich. It looked like she needed it. But I like this part of his quote. It says, I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle. As a friend once sang, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Andy. Well, listen, Andy, I have something to say to you. You turned your life into a goddamn spectacle, homie. If you're going to take responsibility, take responsibility. You're the one that turned your life into a spectacle, and we thank you.
We thank you. The Kiss Cam thanks you.
It's been fun, and I know that it's been at your expense. And the Kiss Cam, god damn, it's such a good thing. I mean, I've been kissing girls at concerts for years, hoping to end up on the Jumbotron.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, man. But I feel for you. But if you're going to take responsibility, take all of it. You created this spectacle. Have a backup plan. The Heimlich maneuver is what I would have gone with. And anyways, I feel like that's pretty much all the time we got today, my friend. What do you think? You got anything else?
I mean, I think that's a wrap. You know, that's an ongoing thing, and we're going to be here bringing you the latest. So
I thought you were going to bring one more thing up. There was one more thing you wanted to talk about. I forget what it was.
I forget what it was. There's so much information. It's hard. I'll bring it to the next one. You know,
we'll have to think about
maybe
it.
it's a sponsorship. Maybe it's a partnership.
We'll think about it.
Yeah.
And hopefully by the next one, maybe we have some more information. Because I looked up this Wells Fargo thing.
Ah, yeah.
It's still unverified.
It's unverified, but yes, there is another. What do you know? Oh, Wells Fargo, one of the biggest financial institutions, not only in the States, but in the world. Oh, yeah, they just casually needed $200 billion to stay solvent?
Right. Huh. Which is still, I guess, is still unverified and being speculated and stuff. But I'm like, well, shouldn't they just be able to, like, hold up their balance sheet?
Oh, you would think.
Like, we're just going to go with unverified when it could be easily resolved, right? You could just be like, oh, no, that's not true.
I don't think they're open to that level of transparency.
I wonder if they're going to get bailed out.
Oh, yeah. Well, jeez.
It seems like all the biggest players get bailed out. I know all you guys know that, but it's like the airlines and the banks, they're always getting bailouts. And it's just wild to me. I don't fully understand how the powers that be view the world and what our part in it is.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to like billions of dollars of bailouts and $75 billion on ice, and it's like, this is like actually like we are the taxpayers. We are the generator of those tax dollars that are being used in these ways. And it's just wild to me. You know, so stand by. We'll keep our eyes on that one. We'll keep our eyes on other things, and we'll keep our eyes on you.
Yeah, we will.
Good looking. And stay in touch with us. You know, find us on social media. We're on X, Facebook. What's the other one? Instagram, YouTube. You can pretty much look up Break the Cypher. Some of them are at Break the Cypher. Some of them are at _ Break the Cypher. But you can find us. You can find us at breakthecipher.com. We have a new initiative going on. We're trying to raise $100,000.
Yep.
Okay. And we're starting the initiative today. We will report back to you every 2 weeks and tell you how much progress we have made. But we need you to get on breakthecypher.com and start donating, start the momentum for us. And we'll keep doing what we're doing, and we'll keep making it better and better.
Oh, yeah.
Promise you that.
You know it.
But until then, I wish you all the best of weeks ahead, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
We'll see you soon.
Peace.